Hello and welcome to another episode of 5 Minutes with Sean. Thank you so much for joining us yet again here in the new year. Look, it's the first week of a new year. I think there's a lot of things that go through people's minds. I think one of the bigger things that I hear quite a bit about as it relates to discussions right now is about expectations. What to expect from your people, what to expect from your marketing, what to expect from new hires, the new year, the economy, right? Expectations. I don't think we spend enough time in this industry really talking about them, to be honest with you. And so one of the things that I like to kick it off with is, how often do you truly convey your expectations to someone? Forget business. Let's just talk life in general. How often do you truly convey your expectation for this individual, or how much of it is assumed? Right? Now, I think we all know what they say about assumptions. I don't need to tell you that. But what I will tell you is that every time that I assume someone knows what it is that I expect, I have set them up to fail, me up to fail, and whatever it is that we're discussing will also be a failure. And so it's important to me to make sure that we all talk about it in the same way, right? Because when I talk about expectations, I want it attached to anything. I don't really care what we talk about, whether it's me saying, hey, do I believe in this or that? Is it the way you want to do this, or is it the way you don't want to do this? Whether it's, like I said, in personal life, I've got people all the time come up to me and say, Sean, you didn't know what I expected from you there, did you? No, I didn't. And that's why I don't typically go into arrangements without knowing it, right? I don't care. I had my kitchen remodeled recently, and there was no way that I was going to go through anything without every single piece of the puzzle being talked about from an expectation standpoint. Well, it could be 2 or 3 days. Will it be 2 or will it be 3? Well, Sean, this is remodeling and it's not that easy. Look, I need to know what to expect, because if you don't deliver on expectation, then I know how to handle the next steps, right? I know whether I need to go hard after you, whether I say, look, we're within the expectation window, whatever it is. Expectations is a way to manage a situation fairly. The biggest issue is if I would have gone through this remodel, right? And I would have said, yeah, cool, you guys, whatever you guys want to do, get it done, we'll see you when you're done. These guys could have been here for weeks. Instead, they were out of here in 6 days because I didn't have a full remodel. Anyone who's sitting there going, oh my God, no, that's not it. Counter shit like that, really easy stuff. My point is that had we not had expectations of completion, that could have dragged this project out. And as you can see, right, I work from my house. So that was part of the things that I had to express to them as my expectations for them coming into my house. Now, as it relates to the car business, once again, I don't think we ever have done the best job explaining to each other what we expect from one another. Whether that's in a store, I don't think managers, hell, I'll take it a step further. I don't think owners do a great job of explaining expectation to GMs, and then so on and so forth. And it becomes a game of telephone, right? First person thinks they heard this, second person heard this. By the time it gets down to the people who may be responsible for the work, and in dealerships, if someone says we need to sell X and make X, by the time it gets down to salespeople, the message may be distinctly different. And if it isn't about what's expected and more about what needs to be accomplished, that's not always as helpful to me. I think that when you talk about expectations, you should be looking at each other and saying, is this what you expect right now for this event? People say, no, I expect this. Wonderful. Take a note, write it down. Make sure that your expectations are extremely clear. The other thing that I hear a lot, right, we hear is the inspect what you expect. Agreed, 150%, no doubt about it. Quick question. Does anyone know exactly what it is that you expect while they're inspecting? I inspect data for a living. I do it with the direction of my client and their expectations for their marketing spend, for what they want to see in their data, what they're trying to learn about, whatever it is. That's why we believe we're successful in that way, because when we talk about it, It's all stems from an expectation discussion. Those of you who haven't heard me say this, the first time I meet a new client, the number one thing that I let them know that I cannot do for them is sell them more cars. That's an expectation I want to get out of the way right here, right now. Data is a guide. Marketing is a guide. Marketing does not sell cars. Attribution is a stupid word. Okay? Take that for 2019. Yeah. 2019, stop using attribution. It's dumb. You can use it. You can look at it, right? Here I am, right? I talk about shaming. I'm calling people dumb. The idea of the word is dumb. All right? Not people who use it. I get why attribution makes sense in our industry. But my expectation of attribution is not what yours is. My expectation of attribution is data. Knowing where things came from, how they got there. Store visits is as far as I'll take it into a dealership. But those are my expectations. So what I said earlier was that I let my clients know, not going to be here to just, make it right and sell more cars. I can't help you with that. Selling cars is an internal problem. If you're not selling cars, it's probably because something is happening internally at your dealership, okay? That's probably what it is. 8 times out of 10, it is not a marketing or lead issue. It is a sales process people issue. Those are the issues. So the expectation that I like to set is so everyone knows where I stand, because what I don't want to hear in the first month doing business with someone is, hey, Sean, I hired you and I'm not selling more cars. Now that I've set the expectation, that's an easy phone call. Yeah, I told you that I was not going to do that for you. This still happens. Even though you set expectations, doesn't mean people listen, doesn't mean people remember. Okay, none of that is what we're talking about here. What I'm talking about is simply setting them. And then you must follow up on them. Okay? Because I see people all the time who do not meet, let alone exceed expectations. Those of you who are in the corporate world, or otherwise perhaps, but when I was in the corporate world for the 2 years that I was in it, one of the things that I learned was that when you do reviews, whatever, right? It's always about meeting expectation, exceeding expectation. And I would always say, are those the expectations of the goals that were written out that pay the financial side of the business, or were you referring to something else? And I'd always hear, it's a little bit of both. Well, that's weird because we never really talked about conduct expectations. We only talked about hitting a number. So if you expected me to hit a number at a certain time, if you expected me to keep a certain number of customers, those things were not clear to me. And that's kind of the first thing that led me to understand that I was not cut out for corporate life. Too many questions, not enough answers, red tape, bureaucracy, garbage. But again, I didn't have any expectations going into corporate life. And now that I have lived it for myself, I know what to expect in the future. No matter what you tell people for expectation, always follow up. Always. Continually be following up. Keep talking about those expectations. Keep letting people know this is what I still expect for this process. In our industry, what we have a terrible habit of is beginning something, following it up for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, and then forgetting about it in its entirety. I think that if we continually talk about expectations, we can all be better off. It can make everyone's life easier. And this industry can continue to grow in the most transparent way possible. And I think the easiest way to do that is setting expectations. So I'll leave you with this. If you are a salesperson at a dealership right now, you need to be setting expectations with your customer from the very, very first communication. And whatever expectation you set, you damn well better deliver on. That's the problem. You see, so many people set the bar too high for themselves, they cannot deliver on it, right? And anytime you get into that situation, you set yourself up for failure, right? Under promise, over deliver. Most people right now doing the opposite. So, thank you so much for joining us here in the first week of January 2019 for your 5 minutes. As always, you can find me on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook, the Twitters of the world. What else? Oh, you can email me, phone calls. Email me, Sean, SEAN, at carbizdonebetter.com. You can also call or text me, 262-278-0157. That is Direct Line. You guys have been blowing it up recently. Thank you so much. Hope everyone has enjoyed their week, and we look forward to seeing you again next Monday. Thanks.